Welcome back to part two of the Rudolph Valentino story. This is Hooray for Hollywood. My name is Wayne York, and let's get to it. In 1919, Valentino married actress Jean Acker. It is often referred to as the shortest marriage in Hollywood history because Jean Acker locked Rudolph Valentino out of their honeymoon suite at the Hollywood Hotel on their wedding night. In 1922, Valentino married American silent film costume and set designer Natasha Rambova. It was a rocky relationship, and they divorced in 1925. On May 14, 1923, while in New York City, Valentino made two vocal recordings, two songs that were not released until after his death. They are the only recordings of his voice that exist. Give a listen.
The voice of Valentino was recorded for the first and only time in the New York laboratories of the Brunswick-Balke Colander Company on May 14, 1923. Mr. Rudolph Valentino singing his favorite ballad, Kashmiri Song, in English.
In 1925, Valentino purchased the 4-acre property located high above Benedict Canyon in Beverly Hills. He hired architect Wallace Neff to design a gorgeous Spanish colonial revival-style mansion completed in 1925, which Valentino called the Falcon Lair, after his unproduced film called The Hooded Falcon. On August 15, 1926, while on tour promoting his latest film, The Son of the Sheik, he collapsed with sudden and severe abdominal pain at the Hotel Ambassador on Park Avenue in Manhattan. He was rushed to the hospital where he was diagnosed with appendicitis and gastric ulcers. Surgery was performed immediately, but sadly, after surgery, Valentino developed peritonitis. His condition worsened, and he had a severe relapse of pleurisy, developing in his left lung. During the early morning hours of Monday, August 23rd, he spoke his last words, saying, "Don't pull down the blinds. I feel fine. I want the sunlight to greet me." Sadly, he died quietly at 12:10 p.m. that day at the age of 31. His tragic and sudden death at such an early age shocked Hollywood and the world and caused mass hysteria among his fans. His body was transferred to the Campbell Funeral Church in New York for preparation. It was decided to allow fans a glimpse of the star as he lay in state, and around 30,000 people crowded around the funeral home for their chance to see their idol. Over 100,000 showed up outside St. Malachy's Church in New York to show their respects. There was much pushing and shoving and near rioting going on. I've heard it described as mayhem. His body was carried across the country by train in a bronze casket, and people from all walks of life, young and old, greeted the train at various stops along the way to pay their respects. After hearing about the riots that happened in New York, the police in Los Angeles came up with the term crowd control to deal with what they knew could be a repeat of what happened in New York. On September 7th, studio flags were lowered to half-mast. Work stopped for part of the day, and 5 minutes of silence was observed. Thousands of people crowded outside the Church of the Good Shepherd in Beverly Hills to pay honor to their favorite actor. Later that afternoon, an estimated 80,000 mourners crowded in and around the cemetery grounds at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery when Valentino's casket was carried into the cathedral mausoleum. A small airplane flew overhead, showering the funeral procession with thousands of rose petals. Sadly, suicides also happened, apparently by women who were inconsolable after Valentino's passing. As a tribute to her ex-husband, Valentino's first wife, Jean Acker, wrote a song celebrating him after his death. I'll play it at the end of this segment in the closing credits. In 1930, in a small park in Hollywood called the DeLongpre Park, a memorial sculpture entitled Aspiration and dedicated to Valentino was unveiled, and later a mounted bust of Valentino was added as well. Hollywood High School's mascot, the Sheiks, is a tribute to the Valentino character. I visited the school a couple of days ago, and the principal very kindly showed me around the school, pointing out the various artwork celebrating Valentino and the Sheiks. Thank you so much for joining me on this segment of Hooray for Hollywood. My name is Wayne York, and it's a wrap on Rudolph Valentino. We'll see you on the next one.
Though heaven called you and we had to part, and my heart is aching with sorrow, though the plans that we made like our dreams had to fade, there'll be another tomorrow. We will meet at the end of the trail, dear heart, and I know you'll be watching and waiting. Though I pine for the touch of your hand in mine, I smile through my tears, for we'll meet sometime. In my dreams